Don't throw away that old TV remote just yet, because something most people think is completely useless can actually become a surprisingly useful device. With just a few simple steps, today I'm turning it into a unique homemade antenna, and the final result might be far more impressive than you ever expected. As the first step, I'm going to open up the remote casing so it becomes easier to connect several important components directly to the circuit board inside. Make sure to remember these two important spots on the circuit board because in the next step we're going to add two solder points directly onto them. The two solder points on the TV remote circuit board are now complete, and now I'm connecting two wires directly onto them. The type of wire I'm using here is single-core electrical wire, which works quite well for this kind of connection. After soldering one end of the two wires onto the TV remote circuit board, I'll tidy up the remaining ends so the wires can be routed neatly outside the remote casing. A new issue has come up, so I'm going to drill a small hole in the TV remote battery cover to make it easier to route the two wire ends outside. Next, I'm going to use a 1-to-2 signal splitter. This component has the ability to combine signals from two separate connection points into a single transmission path. So now, I'll connect the two remaining wire ends coming from the TV remote circuit board to the two input connectors of this splitter. To make sure the wires stay firmly connected to the splitter connector, I'm going to use hot glue to reinforce and secure this connection point. As for this signal splitter, I'm also going to attach it directly onto the remote using hot glue so everything looks cleaner and more compact. This is a coaxial cable, a component commonly used in signal transmission systems because of its stable conductivity and excellent resistance to interference. In this project, I'll be using it as an important connection part to help the recycled antenna device transmit and receive signals more effectively. For this coaxial cable, I'll first prepare one end so it can connect to the remaining port of the signal splitter, while the other end will be handled later for connecting directly to the TV. This is a straight F connector, which makes it very convenient for connecting the coaxial cable directly to the signal splitter quickly and securely. This is a 90-degree F connector, which is very useful for creating a cleaner connection between the straight F connector and the TV input port. Alright, the entire recycled antenna system is now fully completed. Now I'm taking it outside for a real-world test so we can see exactly how the final result performs. Before connecting the recycled antenna device to this TV, I want to verify first so you can clearly see that the television is currently receiving no signal at all. This will make it much easier to compare the results later once the connection is complete. Just a few seconds after making the connection, the picture has already appeared on the screen. But we won't jump to conclusions yet, let's keep testing for a while longer to see whether the signal remains stable or not. Even though the signal still seems stable so far and nothing unusual has happened yet, to test it more carefully, I'm going to disconnect it and plug it back in once again to see what happens. And the result proves something incredibly interesting. Sometimes the old parts we assume belong in the scrapyard can become something nobody expects. With nothing more than the combination of a discarded phone charger and a safety capacitor salvaged from an old circuit board, we've managed to create a recycled antenna device capable of real-world operation. That is exactly what makes DIY so fascinating. It's never about how expensive the parts are, but about turning what seems useless into something genuinely useful.